Hey, what's up? If you're like me, you realize that fishing is not exactly a cheap hobby or sport or profession. But I'm here to give you a few tips on how to save some money. I think I've done that in the past, and in this one, we're going to go over some soft plastic tips, or a soft plastic tip that saved me a lot of money especially this last year. If you throw anything like a Yamamoto style bait or something that's heavily salted, you realize that that plastic isn't necessarily as durable as some other, less salt impregnated or silicone impregnated baits. And there is a reason that we still fish these baits. One, because it seems as though we either have confidence in them, or the fish seem to hold on to them or bite them a little bit better. But for whatever reason, I know I love my Yamamoto stuff, and I still fish it, even though sometimes they don't last as many fish. Like if you take a Yamamoto Cinco and take it to a Yum Dinger probably lasts a lot longer, but a Cinco will probably get more bites, and that's in my opinion. But what happens after a while, if you notice it, you rip the plastic or the bait doesn't hold on the hook as well. And I noticed it a lot this year, so I've been flipping. I've seen previous videos, baits like this. This is a Yamamoto Shinshowo, or however you pronounce it. I can never, remember it, and then I, leave it. But, flapping hogs, throwing Yamamoto grubs, tubes, Cincos. And one of the things that happens, and I'm going to show you here, actually this bait right here, this is a fixed bait. I've used this bait, it's been ripped, and it's, I'm going to show you right now. What I do is I carry around a certain type of glue, and it saved me because you go through packs of this stuff. Like if you're really on something, and depending on how you're rigging it, you could, a fish, two fish, maybe a bait sometimes goes through, and a lot of people have switched brands just because of that, and I'm telling you, you don't have to. But you take this guy right here. So this is where, a lot of our baits rip, right, the head, and that's why they fall off. And you also get weird areas where the hook is, if you use one, like here's another one, where you got hooks that have ripped through and damaged the baits or whatnot. And when you're fishing, you typically, I throw that on there and get into a new one in a pack. But what I do at the end of the day, or if I know I'm going to be flipping and I don't have a pack available for the next day, is I go through and I glue these things. And it's not just any glue. I guess you could, super glue and stuff, that to me that doesn't really work very well. If you're trying to keep it on, it's a temporary fix. If you're trying to keep it on the hook, you can maybe glue the shaft of the hook, but that doesn't really work. I'd rather just repair the bait. And that comes down to using a certain type of glue, which is mainly, there's a couple different ones out there. I can give you some brand names. I know 316 sells theirs. That's what I usually get, because I've ordered some baits from them, and they usually sends this with it. It's awesome. And then Mend It. They're a lot acetone based glues. And this one here in particular, this is a methyl ethyl ketone glue. And what it does is, it's not like a super glue. What it actually does is it fuses the plastisol or plastic back together. So it's super simple. The only thing you have to be worried about this, you need to keep it, you can't have it in freezing temperatures or, huge temperature variations. It seems to impact the effectiveness of the glue. But if you store it in reasonable environments, and then you keep it closed, it should last for a long time. But all I do, like, see this one, man, that is completely ripped, and I was flipping with it, and caught a couple fish, or maybe I didn't even catch a couple fish on this one, I can't remember, but it ripped, and I had to go immediately to a new one. And I've been using a lot of my retreads, especially during practice or fun fishing, and then I save the brand new ones in the pack. But all I do is you split that open, and you can kind of see like how bad that one is. And it's super simple, almost, you can ask your girlfriends or whatever how they do their nail polish, but you just wipe it in there through all the cracks. So I got that one. There's another perpendicular crack here. I just dab it in there. And I pinch it how you want it to hold. So like at the end of practice, when I'm getting ready for a tournament, if this is the deal, I'll go through. If this is the deal, or Cincos are the deal, or flapping hogs, I'll go through all the ones that I've messed up, and I'll just re-glue them. And that seam, actually, I can get a little better where that seam's gone, but it doesn't take long. I'll re-glue them and I'll set them out for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Make sure that they're dry. You won't even tell. The good thing about this type of glue that if you want to call it a glue, that actually causes the plastic to melt and reform around itself. Is that you don't have any hard spots like you would like a super glue type thing, but it just like almost not quite new, but pretty much new. But anyway, I let that sit, and then you get something like this one's been glued multiple times. Like I'm missing an appendage over here. This thing has been devastated. I've glued this one back together multiple times, but I've glued this one. I probably could re-glue the bottom of that. I think I forgot to get that one, but these are usable baits. But what I do after that, so you let it sit for 15 minutes, and actually take a bag. You can take a plastic bag or you know, a Ziploc bag, and I just go and throw those ones in there, and then you put your favorite whatever scent. And this is just psychological mainly. I don't know if this actually has a scent that's released, or it shouldn't. It should dissipate, and it should be just like any normal plastic or a plastisol based bait. But just at my own head, I put these in a plastic bag or a Ziploc bag. I use Bang a lot, or like a Berkeley scent, and whatever you feel like doing, you throw it in there, you zip it up, and then you just save those for your next day. But this but for whatever, $5, I've saved multiple packages of these. So you take $7 a package, $7 a package. I don't know how many packages I've saved by just utilizing this type of glue. Now, yeah, granted, eventually with the salt-based, you start getting the little salt spots where you're losing more plastic, and you got a lot of salt, and eventually you're gonna have to throw them away. But I've gotten, like, I'm on some of these baits, I've glued like probably 4 or 5 times, and I'm still using them. And then yeah, like on a tournament, I might use one straight out of a package. But for fun fishing and experimenting and for practice, you can just keep gluing these baits, and you can even use them if you had to. Always keep that bag somewhere just in case I run out. But that's a way to save money. I mean, like I said, with the Yamamoto bait, $6 to $8 a bag. For some of these other ones, you can use this stuff on, you're talking anywhere, at very minimum $4 a bag, and you multiply that over the season, depending on how many you fish. I mean, you save a lot of money right there. But anyway, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe. I'll talk to you later.